Well, a happy Christmas to everybody on this cool, cold and clear Boxing Day morning at Headingley, and probably one of the historic matches of the day. This is the last season for the foreseeable future anyway that rugby league will be played on Boxing Day in this country, and what a game in store this morning, because it's Leeds versus Castleford. And quickly through the two teams, Leeds have Anthony Gibbons at fullback with a three-quarter line of Jim Fallon, Francis Cummings, Carl Hall and Marvin Golden. And the halfbacks, George Mann, and a return at number 7 to Tony Kemp, playing against his old team. The front row, Neil Harmon, James Lowes and Barry McDermott. And the second row, possibly the youngest second row in rugby league today anyway, playing Adrian Morley and Jamie Field, with Mike Forshaw at loose forward. And the substitutes, a return to Leeds colours of Gary Schofield after a long injury, Harvey Howard, David Gibbons, and also back Mick Shaw. Castleford side of one of the oldest players playing, Graham Steadman at fullback, the three-quarter line of Chris Smith, Richard Goddard, Adrian Flynn and Jamie Coventry, Tony Smith and Gareth Stevens, the halfbacks. Front row, Lee Crooks, captain Paul Darley and Nathan Sykes, with Lee Harland, Andrew Schick, Twari Nico making up the back three. And the substitutes, Jason Flowers, Colin Maskell, Ian Smales and Dean Sampson. So several players in the Castleford side who have made appearances in Leeds colours. A good crowd in this morning, despite the absence of public transport, and I've no doubt that on the terraces somewhere hip flasks will be in their preponderance. Certainly it's a day which is for hip flasks, and already before the teams kick off, the crowd begin to give roar and support their favourites. Castleford will kick off. Castleford defending the St Michael's Lane end, kicking towards the electronic scoreboard end, with Graham Steadman to kick off. Game underway. Marvin Golden takes it, begins to run out from the good kick by Steadman, deep, and he can't make it to the 20 metre now. On a mistake by Leeds already, by Adrian Morley. So a chance for Castleford to on the attack, and the scrum about 12 metres from the Leeds line. Gareth Stevens putting the ball in, making sure where Steadman comes on the open side, on the short side. Brings in Jamie Coventry, but he's wrapped up. And already the big forwards are coming in, and Andrew Schick, the Australian from Redcliffe in Brisbane, Gareth Stevens, the dummy runner, Nathan Sykes not in the correct position, Crooks, and a good tackle on Tony Smith, very dangerous player Tony Smith. Nicow puts the kick in, it's going to run dead, just a little too strong. Trying to catch Leeds cold, shall we say, on this cold day. Jim Fallon taking the ball, nearly standing still from James Lowes and not making much ground at all. Forward pass to the referee. So another scrum and head and ball again to Castleford, this time outside the Leeds 20 metre zone. Moving it to the left, nearly get through, and good tackle has to come on Adrian Flynn there. So, sign from Wakefield, Nicow. Crowd shouting for a forward pass there. The referee not interested. Crooks drops the ball, picked up by George Mann. George Mann gets it away. Carl Hall takes it out of the Leeds danger area. Jeremy Field holds the ball firmly then, the Leeds don't make much ground. Neil Harmon now takes it up midway between the halfway line and the Leeds 20-metre area. George Mann. Nathan Sykes into the tackle. Kemp. Forshaw. Last tackle, so Leeds obviously will put a kick in. Is it going to be a deep one? It's a bounce. Collected by Chris Smith. Tries to zigzag past one player. Yes, still going. Somehow he got out of that tackle. It seemed to be held, but was put down. Lee Crooks. Crowd trying to implore the referee that it was a forward pass. As Lee Crooks is pushed back by the Leeds defence. Shook again. Got the headband on. Running across to the right hand. Oh, that was a good pass. Was Nick out in bed there, and a cut through by Adrian Flynn, and he's got support on his inside. Being shepherded towards the touchline. Does he get in? Is it a try? He's given the try. Adrian Flynn. Anthony Gibbons trying to shepherd him there instead of going in possibly for the tackle. So Adrian Flynn gives Castleford a 4-0 lead. Castleford already have a win against Leeds earlier this season at Weldon Road in the league. Good kick by taken by Stebbins, taken by George Mann, watches it all the way. Drives it up near to 20-metre line. Trying to fan it wide. This time Morley does hold on. Neil Harmon tries to knock and looked a bit high on Neil Harmon there. And that was a foul on Nickow. By Nickow, I should say, on Neil Harmon. And in fact, the referee has taken it on another 10 metres. So Tony Kemp to put the ball in. So Leeds set an attack. Half slip there by Barry McDermott. That gets the ball away to James Lowes. And James Lowes takes it into the 20-metre area of Castleford now. Jim Fallon, dummy half, sets towards the touchline and takes it 10 metres short of the line, trying to catch Castleford as well. He caught London Broncos unaware on Tuesday night with that run. They didn't come off. Castleford too alert. They got men on that side. Now, support if Leeds moved across quick. They've got an overlap. But they've decided Forshaw trying to get through. The pass out there to the left-hand side would have caught them cold. Now, we're going to run out of players on this side and Kemp goes down. And that's the fifth tackle. Now, George Mann, what's he going to do? Put a kick in. It's going to be taken by Stedman. Stedman gets over the line. No, he doesn't. He half slipped. So, nearly got over the line, but was pushed back by the Leeds defence. So Castleford will drop out underneath their own post. So Stedman, 34 years old, oldest man on the field, but certainly a very experienced player, will drop out. Nearly to the halfway line. It just shows how slippery it is after the frost last night, but the undersoil heating making sure that this game, and Adrian Morley driving forward. Nobody up with Anthony Gibbons on his own, coming up into the line and beyond it. Forshaw again. Leeds trying to go down the middle. Now moving it out right with Neil Harmon. Neil Harmon tries to drive through, but Tony Smith hangs on. James Lowes, Kemp, Hall, Gibbons, tackling by Richard Goddard, as well as playing rugby league for Castleford, plays cricket for Colton in the Leeds League. Forshaw Fulshaw puts a little kick in, collected by Stedman quite easily. Not run far by Jamie Commentary on that occasion. That's Lee Harland, one of the Castleford players who's played in Leeds colours. Chris Smith, scorer of 6 tries so far this season. No way through there for Nathan Sykes. Now the kick. Stedman, and I know that Castleford practice these long kicks. Golden waits for it to bounce and then collects it. Runs in field and is met by the line of Castleford defenders. Castleford probably one of the best tackling sides on their day, but then Leeds in the last 2 games with a young side out to tackle superbly well. Kemp's got to take it himself. Kent trying to get through. Gets the ball away. And Adrian Morley has to go down in the tackle. Kemp again. George Mann has to wait for that, then ships it out quickly to Hall. Hall trying to slip through. Marvin Golden just tackled by Chris Smith, getting off to cover that one. Barry McDermott, has he thrown a try? Held over on his back, said the referee. Must have been a good tackle to hold Barry McDermott, the size that he is from scoring his first try for Leeds. So Leeds head and ball, 10 metres out. They win it. George Mann. Oh, he scored a try direct from a scrum against London, but not on that occasion. Neil Harman wasn't going at James Lowe, zigzag players. Can't get the ball, wants to get the ball away to Francis Cummins, but can't. A couple of metres short of the line. Demarona goes right, Leeds fan it left. Kemp, Morley tried to get through, and there's no way through there. And the penalty to Leeds. And Leeds going to take a kick at goal. Which they are. And we've had 11 minutes play. Castleford lead 4-0. A chance now for Francis Cummins to tag Leeds' first points of this game. And not surprisingly, while there's a stoppage in play, players take liquid refreshment, as is prevalent in the modern game of rugby league. Francis Cummins takes his time. Right in front of the post, and Dooley puts that one over to halve the deficit. It's Leeds 2, Castleford at 4. Cummins with his first goal of the afternoon. He's been 13 for the season, to go with his 13 tries previously scored as well. Kemp putting the ball deep into the 20-minute taken by Stedman very easily. And Smith, he sort of loses footing. I'm not sure of it. Lee Harland takes it onto the 20-metre area, or just clears it. Nick Howe, very adept at getting the ball away and tackle, as was shown when Castle scored try, but not on that occasion. Now Schick. It's the Australian in the side. Nathan Sykes. Stedman now to kick. Closed down by the Leeds players, but gets his kick away beautifully. And Gibbons misses that one completely. but picks it up. Gets out to 12, 13 yards from the metres from his own line. Now Golden takes it up. Obviously trying to get himself into a position to get a run. Neil Harmon. Well, he won't take a backward step if he can help it. Oh, it might Forshaw, that is, I beg your pardon, but like Neil Harmon now with the ball. Two players who like to go forward with the ball. Always want to take players on. Jamie Field gets the ball away to Lowe's and long ball to Mann. Now they've got an overlap if they use it, but they don't. Oh, Hall took that superbly well. Now tries to get away from Richard Goddard and can't. So last tackle. Kick, Kemp, high. Stedman's underneath it. He signals he wants it and takes it beautifully. One of the safest hands in rugby league, I would have thought, Graham Stedman, with all his experience. Certainly has played senior rugby for York, Featherstone Rovers and Castleford and Great Britain. Crook, Lee Crooks. Referee, a loud shout of held. And Castleford moving that look forward. And Schick gets it away. And Castleford players double back. Adrian Flynn, the try scorer. Stedman. It's a kick in. Is it going to go dead? And that was a good way to kick there. Beautifully way to kick. Not running dead. And Leeds having to run it out. Now Jim Fallon running across. And just shows how deft kicks that and how good kicks they are. Now George Mann wants support. He throws it out. And oh dear. The support perhaps wasn't there as it should have been. I think they thought Mann was going to make the half break himself, but he didn't. Maybe put it down to good Castleford. With Stevens trying to take it up. See now, and he's pulled down hard. And he'll have felt that tackle. Sykes driving to the line. These defenders are not having any of that. Now, chance here, Nicow, of course, set the try up again. Oh, and a good tackle, and he should have given it to Stevens. But he breaks out of the tackle, would you believe? Lee Harland. It looked as though he'd made the mistake of closing it up by holding on to give it to Gareth Stevens, but somehow he twisted out of tackles and got over the line, and Lee will say that wasn't one of his better kicks. Good kick by Stedman, beautiful kick. Forshaw takes it on. Half James Lowe's. Now Lee's running it out. Neil Harmon. Well away, beautifully there. Lowe's had words with Tony Smith. He thought that was a bit high. The referee certainly didn't penalise Smith. So Leeds have gone 5 tackles and got up to the halfway line, or just beyond. Lowe's will put a kick in. And that will go into touch. Scrum down, of course. Scrums now, and the ball's in touch. It's 20 metres from the touch line. On some pitches, look more. 20 metres in from touch. Castleford head and ball. There's not many scrums run against the head, and this one isn't. Flynn. Davy Gibbons in to do the tackle. Wasn't able to make the tackle when Flynn now. Richard Goddard trying to zig and then zag his way out. Darley fans the ball out to the right where Lee Harland takes it on the burst. And a surprise. Now Schick. And that was the 5th tackle. So the ball goes back to Stedman, and he'll put a long kick in towards that touchline. He puts it into there because that's where the sun is. Golden dives on the ball. Pushed up. Castleford supporters want to lock on. The referee is having none of it. Gibbons. Anthony. His brother David on the bench. George Mann. George Mann will be eager to make up for that mistake that led to the try. Forshaw, keen tackling by Castle. One of these days where players want to keep on the move and that gets a lot of work done. George Mann knocks Nicow over. Nicow hangs on to him. Last tackle. Kemp puts a high ball in. Taken beautifully there by the winger Jamie Coventry under pressure. Another round of applause gives the crowd a chance to warm their hands on this cold Boxing Day morning. Stevens and Castle are being pushed back in 3 tackles. Not going to be pushed back on this one though. Richard Goddard. Nicow trying to organise things, but a high tackle there was missed by Cummins. That was penalised. Now is it kick? Now, is that going to make some people think that was? Now it's a good down the Flynn. Flynn inside and throws the ball. Goes forward. Must have gone forward there. Must have gone forward there. For Jamie Coventry, and surely he stopped the clock. The referee coming into some criticism from the crowd as the touch judge comes on. Could be a penalty to Castleford here, I would have thought, because unless something was done by a Castleford player to the Leeds player in the tackle. Well, surely the ball had gone forward. And the Leeds player being called, and it will be a penalty to Leeds by Anthony Gibbons, giving away a penalty. A fist being thrown in, and Stedman puts the ball in touch, so Leeds find themselves after some good work defensive in the Castleford 20 metre, find themselves under pressure in their own area. Nathan Sykes. Well, they've already slipped and let Harland in for one try. Now they're going to do it again. Nicow, no obstruction there. The ball juggled and held by Andrew Schick. I don't suppose he's played rugby league quite. And a kick put through, dived on by Golden. Leeds wanting offside call there, but I don't think they're going to get it. Dermot knocked off Goddard there. And the penalty. Penalty to Leeds. In Kempston. 8-2 to Castleford. Neil Harmon drives on as only he knows how, and only he knows he wants to. Jamie Field is met by the tacklers there and goes down immediately. Now George Mann, and that's taken well by number 11 Adrian Moore. That to juggle with it and then turn around. George Mann, I should say, and knocked down now. Kemp shaping to put a kick in there, shaping to pass, does neither. The ball comes out of hand and goes backwards. Now Kemp this time. And again, the try, We'll have to wait to see what the referee's decision is. He's given a try. Try by Jim Fallon. So the gap closes to 8-6 with a goal kick to come. Didn't. Thickness of a post. But the same can be said for Lee Crooks, can't it? And that looked so. I think the crowd were thinking that would gone forward, but I think he had knocked it back, but ran him. It made it look as though the shape of how he ran that the ball had gone forward. It certainly hadn't. And the referee, on that occasion, quite correct. Nick Howe, and that's how to do a tackle. Go low. Kemp, he knows. Obviously, having played with Nick Howe. Crooks, not the strong runner he has been in the past. Was out for a long time this season. Tony Smith out, but he's not going to get past his opposite number. And they've got to the halfway line. And with a Castleford player away to the right, down injured. Now, a kick, Steadman, who missed, and there's a flag up, the touch judge is up because Nathan Sykes is on and the touch judge. The referee stops play. And Nathan Sykes receiving treatment. Criticism for the referee again. Both touch judges on, so whether both touch judges saw what happened. Certainly at the moment out on the field there's not much goodwill, despite it being the time for goodwill. And the referee looking for these players. He wants Barry McDermott and of course the captain James Lowe's going up to find out what the situation is. The ball will come back to here. Be a penalty, I should imagine, to Castleford. .29 minutes gone and Castleford lead this one by 8-6. Typical local West Yorkshire derby game. Hard and no questions asked. And just to show that he's still there, and still a note moan. Sykes, who was receiving treatment a few moments ago, takes it up. Nick Howe was recognised with that familiar ponytail. Shake and the headbands. Wriggles out to one tackle, wriggles out to another. But Forshaw is in. Now Crooks looks inside. Tony Smith down. This is the last tackle coming up. There's going to be a kick. That's going to go dead. A bit too hard. Well, he can't make exact pinpoint kicks every time, can Steadman, so Leeds will get a chance now to clear the lines. And Castleford looked offside to me there. And Harmon nearly to the touchline. McDermott. And it takes three Castleford players to halt the progress. McDermott. Now Forshaw. Leeds at the moment playing possibly a little too much one-man rugby for their own spectators' point of view. Not this time though. George Mann. They tried to get the ball away, wasn't able to. Adrian Morley decided to keep it on. Now a high kick. Again Steadman And he's knocked down. Took that bravely and absolutely pounded down by the Leeds players. Now Chris Smith trying to take it away from danger. Nickell looking for support. Gareth Stevens slips out of that. So Nickell always looking for there. Only Gareth Stevens was alive to that. Now Steadman still tricky, still got that sidestep. Leeds offside. Referee said they hadn't got back the required distance. Steadman puts the ball into touch. 8 minutes to go to half time, and if there had been a Leeds player standing back there, that quickly taken penalty, well, it might not have got into touch. So Castleford again on the attack. Sykes, and hung on there by James Lowes, who makes a prodigious amount of tackle. And he held on his back. No, he says he knocked it on. So it'll be a tap. And Leeds players, Barry McDermott was in there to stop that one. Now Jim Fallon shrugs off one player, decides to hang on. And he's tackled by Adrian Flynn. So a let off for Leeds there. Could that be the turning point for Dickinson? George Mann. Crooks missed that to Marvin Golden trying to work some magic somewhere. But that one bounced off the chest of Jamie Field, but he managed to collect it. The ball gone back, says the referee. Doesn't matter what Castleford or any other players or the spectators say, it's the referee at Mantis. Now they're going to put... well, that ball has gone back. Did that touch a Castleford player? Oh, and George Mann trying to flick it back out of danger from Castleford, knowing it was the last tackle. Only succeeds in putting it into touch. Midway between the Castleford 20-metre line and the halfway line of the pitch. Adrian Flynn. Steadman knocked down. Still a dangerous player, Steadman. A lot of experience there. Darley gets the ball away, shakes, sees a gap, tries to go through it, and nearly did. Bounded down. Now, and that looked forward to me, and to everybody but the referee, but Sykes, always in the thick of it, always wanting to do a lot of work. Now they're moving right. Tony Smith trying to go through a gap. Had Nickell coming up in support, but his arms were pinned and he couldn't get the ball away. Now, what's going to happen here? It's going to be a Steadman kick. Puts that kick in. It's not going to go dead. In fact, the Leeds player managed to get out from his own in-goal area. And Golden escapes that one. And Carl Hull seen little of the ball this morning, but nevertheless made quite a valuable yardage there, and valuable yardage there also for Leeds by McDermott. Now then, they've got a gap here if they could use it, but they don't. Francis Cummins, good chance for Francis to show his speed. Throws it inside, Jim Fallon, and there's nobody backing up. Only Castleford players, but Leeds have taken it down from one end of the field to the other, and they've in 5 tackles. Now Kemp, now they've got a gap. Lowes can't get it away, and that will be the changeover. And one thought if Lowes had got it out to the left, but maybe the ball wasn't correctly positioned in his hand to do it. Nevertheless, now Nickell. But Leeds and Lee Crooks, so he's received a knock. Shake. But that good break by Francis Cummins. Slipped there by Richard Goddard. Made most ground. Sykes again. Now Nickow gets away to Stevens. Stevens always backing up Nickow for some reason or other. And down he goes. Now Nickow again. Puts the kick in. It's not going to go into touch. Hasn't got the... No. Here comes Golden right round the Castleford defence. Trying to make sport now. Gibbons looking for support. George Mann gets out of that by as they're falling down. Francis Cummins slips inside. That's two plays now. Kenny Houseman. Can he go support? Jim Fallon. Now if only can. Jim Fallon's still going. Oh, and if only Cummins had backed him up there on the right hand side. And looks like a penalty to Leeds. Not. Then didn't get up to play the ball, Stedman. And Kemp had gone over, but the referee has signified that a Leeds player is injured. Stedman holding down. But one, if Cummins had only backed up Jim Fallon on the right-hand side, I think there'd have been a try for Leeds there. Holding down in a tackle. No chance now, just before half-time, for Leeds. To go in on level terms. In fact, they've kicked the ball into touch. Well, I thought they might have gone for the points there. Barry McDermott takes it on, but he's just short of the line. Sheer weight of numbers there. Now Leeds fan it out quickly to the left hand side. Now George Mann, Forshaw, Carl Hall in for his first try for the club, and that possibly vindicates the choice of Leeds there to take it, not to take a kick at goal, but Carl Hall. He scored 6 tries previously for Bradford Bulls this season, now makes it 7. That's his first one for Leeds, and Castleford have held the lead for most of this half, find themselves approaching the interval, down by 10 points to 8. Ball slowing, coming back. Referee wants a ball on to make a kick off, and immediately 2 come on the field. So Tony Kemp will put the kick in. Which he does in superbly. Taken by the winger, or at least he went backwards. Slippery customer is Chris Smith, because he's so small that people can't get hold of him so well. Schick plays wide out, second rower, and looks a good player. Lee Crooks, who we know from the past is a good player. The kick will come in now. Richard Goddard in for the kick. And it's high up. Gibbons at least turns round and lets the ball go over his shoulder wide. And so Nickow up for the tackle, as is most of the Castleford players now. Goddard, the kicker, finally effects it. And then he knocks him down again. Chris Smith might have been penalised if he moved off the mark, but we'll give him the benefit of that doubt. Adrian Morley. Forshaw. Harmon wanting players to back him up to get. He'd got in position to pass that ball then. George Mann. Carl Hall raises pass. Stevens is going, and Gibbons was with him. He waves his hands in anguish as I don't think Carl Hall had got the position. Now a kick in. Is it going into touch? Or is he going touching goal? It just goes in touch to short, and there's the half-time hooter, and a game to warm the hearts of all the spectators here this morning, this cold Boxing Day morning. The players lead the field, bright sunshine. And in the second half, Castleford have the slight wind in their favour. But at half-time, Leeds have got that narrow lead. It's Leeds 10, Castleford 8. And also Gary Schofield makes a reappearance. And he acknowledges the cheers from the crowd. So, to work out who's gone off, but certainly Tony Kemp is back on. So I wonder if George Mann is going to move back into his normal position in the pack. The band, which have been entertaining the crowd, make their way off. And the crowd have enjoyed that one. You've got to wait for the band to get off. I'm afraid I don't think I'd noticed that. Kemp puts it over. Not that short, it's short of the 20-metre area. So that shows that the wind is stronger than what it appears out there, although the kicks by Stedman were very good indeed. He judged it perfectly. Schick. Schofield in to make his first tackle of this game. And we come on in the second half. Adrian Flynn just holds on to that by his fingertips, but successfully. Lee Crooks. The kick coming in. It's a low kick. Did it at a least play it. Jim Fallon going to dive on that. Puts his, as the saying goes, puts his body on the line. And the referee stops play. And Schofield got a cut. Could be a blood bin already for Gary Schofield. In fact, somebody's lost it's a contact lens, somebody suggests. With a smile, Jim Fallon plays the ball. Is it one of Gary Schofield's contact lenses? We'll just find out. He certainly threw that one out okay. And Carl Hall can't come through there. George Mann. For sure. Morley onto the halfway line. James Lowe's. Schofield. Schofield. No, there's a kick. Is that going to run dead? Well, that's a good kick. Look, it's just inside, and the Castleford player just managed to get out of his in-goal area. Castleford, like Leeds, can score tries from out of any part of the pitch, in particular in their own area. Certainly trying to run it out. Kemp took a slight knock there as Goddard clears that ball downfield. Bounces kindly for Anthony Gibbons, and he takes it up to the first line of tacklers and falls to Paul Darley's tackle. Marvin Golden trying to go down the middle. Makes it into Castleford, looks so Kemp is going off. Certainly he's walking towards the touchline. Holding his right arm, I think. Schofield. George Mann through a gap. He's got Schofield in support, but he can't get the ball away. And now there's a try chance here, Castleford, and it's going to be picked up, and it's not picked up. And surely there's going to be a knock on there, but there's not. And the referee waits play on. And Leeds trying to get back in numbers. Tackle there. And Goddard. Leeds will be offside, and that's a yellow card for professional foul. Schofield asking what about the knock on? and a penalty. And this time Lee Crooks will attempt a kick at goal to make the scores level within 4 minutes of the second half starting. Well, I always said that Castleford can break out. I said that, and they did that time. So Leeds down to 12 men for the next few minutes, and Steadman is off the field for Castleford. So he's going to come back on the field again. Crooks with this kick, and just to show his disdain for the crowd, he'll probably put one straight through the uprights, which he does do with aplomb. So 45 minutes, and the scores are tied at 10-all, but Leeds have got to play the next 9 minutes or so. With only 12 men. Castleford will kick off, as I thought. Graham Steadman comes back onto the field. He'll put a kick into the Leeds, and George Mann lets that strike him before picking it up and taking it out of a little more danger from as far as Leeds are concerned. And Neil Harmon burst the first tackle from Goddard, and played the ball now Schofield, and Schofield has to jug with that. Francis Cummins trying to jink his way inside, but he makes up to the halfway line. Now James Lowe takes on a little further. The last tackle coming up, says the referee, and surely that was offside. Schofield puts a kick high up. Is it going to touch on the full? No, it's not. Bounces back inside. Steadman has to take it. And tackled by Francis Cummins and Barry McDermott. Scores tied 10-all. Let's remember these sides tied 14-all last season in a league game here. Stevens has got Nick Howe on the burst before he's thrown to earth without the ball, let me add. But he did get it away to Lee Harland. Now Crooks trying to turn and get the ball away. Doesn't. Steadman puts a good kick in, low, and Gibbons takes the time, but Jim Fallon picks it up. Jim Fallon not been able to use his strength, although he has got a try this morning. Little Carl Holtek's very short steps now. Mick Shaw to the halfway line. Schofield looking for support, nobody backing up. Lowe's half slips, can't get anything, gets the ball away to Schofield. Now Schofield jinks one way, and there's nobody up in support again of Schofield. And another chance gone. Last check. Now, is it going to be a kick? It's Smith. He's, as I say, he's a slippery customer, always very wild, but Schofield waits for him, takes him down by his ankles. And this will be in it, and surely that is a knock-on. In fact, Nathan Sykes has been pulled up for offside, picking the ball up from an offside position. So Leeds a chance to, are they going to take a kick at goal? They'll waste a few more seconds. I'll take this kick. And already virtually 5 minutes has gone since the sending off, the sin binning of the unfortunate Leeds number 11, Adrian Morley. Mick Shaw is on now, and perhaps his runs from dummy half will perhaps create a few problems in the Castleford defence. If Cummins doesn't get this, if Overny puts it dead, so the Castleford will drop out and Leeds get a chance to raise another attack. But they'll be hoping he puts it into the between the post, then Leeds will kick off and put Castleford under pressure as they Leeds kick off after the score. Ball up in the air. Has it hit right? Touch, you just say yes. So Leeds go back in front at 12-10. So Francis Cummins' second successful kick of this game. Makes it 12-10 Leeds. And Schofield will kick the ball away to the Castleford left-hand corner. Taken by Nickow. And it runs very powerfully up. And that was a good run by Nickow. Castleford supporters want and a fist phone thrown there. There'll be a penalty. And he's given a penalty to Castleford, although the fist was thrown by, if it wasn't, he should have probably given the penalty to start with when Nickow was possibly held down. But he decided to let play go on. So Castleford, a little bit of a reprieve there in that. Sykes pushed down and waits to see how long before Dean Sampson comes on the pitch. Crooks looking to turn round to get the ball away and had his arms pinned on that occasion. Now Castleford have got a footing in the Leeds half of it. Good tackle on Lee Harlan then. Now they push it off the Leeds player there. Schick thrown down. I'm just wondering if he's played rugby league in such cold. Oh, got the court, and the referee sees that, a forward pass. It's Carl Hall and Nickow tangle, legally, legitimately I say. And there's no malice in there because Carl Hall gives him a hand up. So Leeds, 12-man Leeds. James Lowe's operating the scrums now. George Mann takes it on. Long ball taken by Cummins. Now, can he get out of that tackle? He can't. Stedman comes up and assists Adrian Flynn for pushing him down. George Mann. Gibbons trying to twist out of tackles. Throws the ball back. Neil Harman's there, picks it up. Makes a little more ground towards the halfway line. Barry McDermott and Paul Darley goes the best way, and that's low. Schofield half slips. To Lowe's, and Lowe's goes through a gap. Now, can he get support? Obviously, players don't know whether they're calling for. He couldn't pass from there because Castleford were just wondering whether he would have done a kick. Now Leeds now moving it across to his left-hand side. Now man, Gibbons, Forshaw, and nobody to back Forshaw up. And he's pushed down there, surely. Carl Hall can't get in for it. Obviously trying to get Carl Hall in on the burst. But no chance on that occasion. The Castle defence is from. Nickow takes his time in playing that ball. And the slippery customer Chris Smith, who's always in the thick of it. Schick. 12-10 to Leeds. Lee Crooks. I don't think he was going to turn around and pass the ball then. Richard Goddard. Richard twists out a tackle. He gets to the halfway line before he's pushed down. Lee Harland Lee Harland gets it to Stevens, and that's the 5th tackle. Now then, Tony Smith puts a kick in, and that's going to go dead, or is it? Gordon makes sure that it goes dead, so Leeds will drop out underneath their own posts. Something over the tannoy to amuse the crowd then. Harvey Howard on the field, and that was a good tackle. Crooks, and Harvey Howard's in again, and he gets it away, and Lee Harland, and it Gibbons makes a good tackle there, straight onto him. Stevens, Nickow trying to work the cross, and Nickow drops, slips. Looks Leeds are pleased about. Now then, Crooks, and a try chance here. Has he got this into touch? A flag up. So there's a tap on the 25, and Lee Crooks is coming off. The number 8 held on the far side of the field. Lee Crooks has come off. Lee Crooks has probably done his work for the day. Solid, unspectacular, but nevertheless a chance there for Castleford to get a try through Adrian Flynn, but he was in touch, or touching goal anyway. And George Mann, he's got Golden, he's got Schofield, he's got options, but the Castleford players close all the options down, so Mann holds onto the ball. Schofield, Francis Gibbons, now they've run it out. Now Lowe's decides to hold on, takes Stevens on himself before Stevens makes a tackle, and this game going from end to end at the moment. And so now Gibbons hoping to draw the Castleford players in. He did get the ball away. Jim Fallon can't use his strength, and there's nobody on Fallon right hand side to take the ball. Now Shaw kick, and he's taken out, and the crowd want a penalty there, but I don't, possibly the ball a little too strong. Leeds back at full strength, and they'll be pleased about that. Dean, and that's that looks like Dean Sampson. I think Leeds probably lucky to get away, not having a penalty against them there. And that tackle on Dean Sampson, not letting him get up, play the ball. Stevens out to Harland, and Harland is met. And he's struck off the first tackle, he can't beat the second one. Nickow, who's been a thorn in the flesh now. Flynn brushes off one, gets it back to Nickow. And Castleford have been so adept at getting the ball away in their tackles, more so than Leeds have. But Leeds' tackling has been pretty good again. Sampson gets the ball away. It's a bit loose there, picked up by Nathan Sykes. That was the 5th tackle. Sykes, who's been in the wars on more than one occasion this morning. Good kick by Smith. It bounces for Fallon very nicely. Now he runs around the side of Chris Smith, as if to say, I'm as slippy a customer as Chris Smith is, but Smith wasn't able to get a hand on him there. Goulden. Adrian Morley. And that was a foul. Held, and then they lifted his legs up before he could play the ball. So I think that was Schick and Gareth Stevens equally to blame then, and Armand takes the ball. Looking for support, and over there, Schofield. George Mann takes it inside. Possibly Leeds should have perhaps slowed it down a bit. Perhaps they thought they could catch the defence out. Harvey Howard, first real burst with the ball. Lowe's, Forshaw, partially held, but then gets to the 20-metre line. But this game is ebbing and flowing, and nobody at 12-10 to Leeds, nobody will forecast this until the final hooter goes. Gibbons now, can Cummins get round Smith? Tries to come inside. The two Castleford men decide they will try and push in a touchline, but Cummins went down. Bit of indecision there. Lowe's takes it on. Schofield. Kick across the front of the post, but under no pressure Chris Smith takes that well, and it was while he runs across, he's knocked down by Adrian Morley. Doesn't wriggle out of that tackle at all. Coventry. Castleford to make another substitution. Adrian Schick, I think, going to come off. On their sight. But Schofield chasing him, makes a good half break there. Schofield penalised for that. Now Stedman going to take a kick off. Schick now goes off. And this is the substitution is number 16, Ian Smales on. As Castle take a tap and take it into the Leeds, Dean Sampson. Nathan Sykes. Obviously wary of Nickow going on to the left-hand side, but Castleford to ignore him. He tries to bring it as a dummy runner, but Harland is driven back. No way through on that occasion. Leeds having to tackle hard. They'll have to continue tackling hard. Sampson gets the ball away. Now, chance here, Stevens. Stevens tries to get through a gap on a dummy, but there's no way through on that occasion. Tony Smith, Nickow. Oh, and that was a good ball, Nickow, but Goddard could not run on towards the right-hand side. He was already committed to going left. And a knock on there. So it's a changeover. Offside, surely. Tony Smith looks a bit disgusted with that decision, but the referee had no hesitation. So Leeds breathe again, and Schofield kicks it over the south stand roof. And Harvey Howard takes it on. Neil Harmon nearly to the halfway line. Schofield, George Mann, Mr. Mann out, but I don't think there's any need for that. But at least Francis Cummins was able to be in a position to pick the ball up. Morley, taken up by Mick Shaw, tackled by Ian Smales. Schofield puts a chip over the top, and I think Stedman, no, he doesn't run it dead. In fact, he takes it out, and there's no players in support anyway. Leeds are not doing the tackling on that occasion. Chris Smith again, Smales. 63 minutes gone, and it's 12-10 in favour of Leeds, and nobody would bet on either side's winning or win this game. And Nickow takes it on. Stevens tries to break through a gap, looks to try and get the ball away and can't. Forshaw puts a good tackle in. Stedman will put a kick in. It's a very high kick. Golden takes it superbly well. Just waits for it. Anthony Gibbons. Mick Shaw waving players away to the left-hand side. But Morley inexperienced there. I thought should have gone out to the right. Oh, and that was a high tackle there on Hall. Glasgow urged the referee on the toucher to get involved. Harmon does a dummy. Gets away to Schofield. Golden inside. Golden to the line. Is he going to the post? No. and he goes over for a try, and Marvin Golden gets the try. So a beautiful play there by Leeds. Yep. I should say afternoon now, because of course it's past 12 o'clock. This game kicking off at 11:30 on this cold, clear Boxing Day. Up in the air, and it's between the posts, so Leeds have got that little cushion there of 8 points. With a quarter of an hour to play, Leeds perhaps will now be able to play a little more freedom. Certainly Castleford, it's in a game which has been really hard, as was expected on this Boxing Day morning, and really both sides have given the crowd their money's worth and plenty to shout about. Ian Smales, Leeds firm on that occasion, and already 2 tackles gone. Nicow wanted that ball, and it into Sampson. Son of Dave Sampson, of course. Now Leeds pick it up, and Joe Lowe's and Carl Hall trying to get away from Richard Goddard, can't. So Leeds back on the attack. Richard Goddard in to tackle Harvey Howard. Shaw gets the ball. Schofield there's a chance on that right hand side. In comes Cummins into the heart of the defence. Can they get another point and put Leeds well in command this game? Certainly the ball up in the air, and Schofield takes it, it chips over the top, and then he's knocked down, and the referee will have nothing of that. And then an interception try. Well, Nicow, who usually puts such good passes out for his side, really put a silly pass there right on his own line, and Leeds, well, Francis Cummins took it with all the aplomb of accepting a Christmas gift. Whether it was wrapped or not, it didn't matter, but he wrapped that try, and that could certainly have wrapped the game up for Leeds. Really. And the crowd really doing the conga, I suppose, to Nicow. So 68 minutes and an interception try. Very rare you see an interception try so close to the line. George Mann goes off. Leeds make another substitute. And Cummins added another 6 points. On that occasion himself, a try. His 4th goal, 24-10 to Leeds. And referee and Gary Schofield in conversation, had a bit of a smile. And Colin Maskell coming on, who was a favourite here at Leeds, although receiving boos, but Colin, I think, was probably disappointed not getting the starting place this afternoon in the Castleford lineup. Well, he's on now for the last 11 minutes. Boy, good boot there, right down the middle of the field, and now Castleford know they've got to score quickly to get back into this game. 14 points down, and it's 3 tries, and Ian Smales is pushed to one side. Nicow. Trying to get the pass away, trying to get his winger away on the left-hand side, only succeeds in giving Leeds the ball. Leeds will slow it down a bit now. just to waste a bit of time. Gibbons, Shaw, Forshaw over the halfway line. Castleford probably not as keen on tackling now as they were at the start, but nevertheless, now Harvey Howard doing a bit of damage to the Castleford defence. Mick Shaw, those darting runs again. One never knows what Mick Shaw is going to do. I wonder if his own players do. Gary Schofield slows it down. Carl Hall, he's got Schofield! He's not giving it. This is a forward pass. And I don't think Carl Hall and Gary Schofield can believe it. Gary Schofield walking back, has a chat with Stedman, an old friend from Great Britain international days. Richard Goddard and Schofield, who would have been delighted with that try there. The crowd would have been, particularly. Castleford not quite together now. They've been hit by those tries in quick succession by Leeds. Nathan Sykes has been the thick of the action all this match. And the ball away, Nicow. A chance now for Castleford to break, and he's got that. And a good ankle tap there by Carl Hall on Lee Harlan prevented that. Smales, Leeds couldn't tackle him because of the offside. And Leeds collect that ball. And Smales. And in the wars there was Carl Hall, but he managed to survive. And number 12, Jamie Field, takes it on. And this second row of Leeds have played well. This young second row of Jamie Field and Adrian Morley. Have played absolutely well. Now Mick Shaw sees a gap and goes. It's only a good tackle by Tony Smith, prevents him making much yardage towards the Castleford 20-metre. Schofield, Forshaw, expecting the foot, looked at a high tackle there. Last tackle coming up. Schofield puts a drop kick in. It's wide of the posts. The attempted drop kick. So there'll be a tap on the 20-metre area by Castleford. Smales. Well, Leeds have really played well, particularly the second half. Castleford, whether they've tired or not, and been discouraged by particularly that last try of Francis Cummins, which has intercepted right on the line. Dean Sampson, he's not given up by any means. And that's a long pass, not quite making it to Gareth Stevens. Very disconsolate about that. And James Lowe's had a word with him. So Leeds, some 40 metres from the line. Edinburgh will win it. Now Jim Fallon trying to bring Castleford players in, trying to get the ball away, but can't. Forshaw has run straight or left. That looked forward pass to me. well, but they get away with that, and Francis Cummins nearly burst through. But again, it's Smales in on the tackle. Take a bit of a knock there. Field takes it on. Oohs and ahs from the crowd. Schofield, what's he going to do? Trying to bring Fallon in the burst, but Fallon drops the ball. Goes into touch, so the knock on is effective, so a scrum down. And with 5 minutes to go this game, Leeds 24, Castleford 10. And Castleford are the last side. And in fact, the attendance has come up on the scoreboard. It says 18,000 people here this morning for this. Or as it is now this afternoon. Stedman gets the ball away to Smith. to Jamie Coventry, I should say, and Jamie Coventry. Some of these wingers are not very big as far as the visitors are concerned, but they're not Sackland on the far side. Francis Cummins is it being carried off field. Nicow gets the ball away. Now Tony Smith brought down in spectacular style there. Dean Sampson, who always seems to make yardage no matter what position and where he gets the ball. Stevens kicks over, runs into a Leeds player. And Castleford now, are they going to have the last word? Nicow, but he can't get the ball away. And this will be the last one. So Stedman, is he going to take a kick? He's got to run now. And he picks it up superbly well. But a try for Castleford by Jamie Coventry. It looks like Leeds they were playing at slow motion. So Leeds 24, Castleford 14. Richard Goddard, good kick, he's kicked in matches, so has Maskell. The ball up in the air and it's there. So that's 24-16 by Stedman. And it announced that Neil Harmon has got the man of the match. And with 3 minutes to go, Castleford need 8 points to tie the game. And that hits the post, foot of the post, and Gibbons picks it up, runs it up to just short of the 20-metre line. Oh, what a good half break there by Adrian Morley. Ducked under one tackle. Now Neil Harmon. Not going to make much of it. It's invariably when a man of match has been awarded, the next time he touches the ball, he probably drops it. But not on that occasion. Hall is going to take players on. He's not worried. Harvey Howard. And he's thrown down strongly by 3 Castleford players. Has a word with Nicow. Schofield kicks. But it doesn't make any difference. There's a try on here for Marvin Golden. The pass out by James Lowe's. As Schofield appeared to be obstructed. One gets the impression that the Castleford players are more interested in obstructing Schofield than the ball then. And they finished up with Golden scoring his second try. So a chance to make it 30 points to 16. He doesn't. 28-16. Crowd boo Gary good-naturedly. And I'm sure he's laughing about that. So 80 minutes comes up on the electronic scoreboard now. And it's just a case of stoppage time. And a certain 2 points for Leeds. Schofield puts a kick in. Stedman picks up the rolling ball. Now lets it go past him. And it's not very often that Stedman, usually very safe with balls like that. And there goes the hooter. So the last kick of this game and the last play of this game on Boxing Day. The last Boxing Day game to be played at Headingley, certainly for the foreseeable future. And it's ended good-naturedly as the players shake hands. It's been a good game. Players gone from end to end all time. The 2 points going to Leeds. They beat Castleford on this Boxing Day morning before a crowd of 18,000. It's been Leeds 28, Castleford 16. Well, Carl, congratulations. 3 appearances in a Leeds jersey and 3 wins. That can't be bad, can it?
Yeah, it's been great. I'm really enjoying it here, and I hope we keep winning. I'd rather pick up winning pay than losing pay.
Well, of course, but you got your first try for the club today.
Well, it said on the scoreboard I got a try, but I'm not so sure. I don't know if I got it or not, but the ref gave it to me, so yeah, it was good.
And you must enjoy playing it. How have you settled in? Have you settled in well with the boys? Are the boys taking to you?
Well, I normally go out with Kevin Ira and Tony Kemp anyway, so I've spent more time with the Leeds players than I did with the Bradford players, so I knew them all, and yeah, I've settled in well, and it's been good.
Is the style of play very different from the Bradford style?
Yeah, it's very, very different. Leeds have got more class players, ball players and that, whereas Bradford, they're all just hard toilers, they work hard and that, but Leeds play an attacking style of game, and that, that's what I like.
Well, back to today's game, it was a very hard, and Castleford took the game to you right from the start. They led early on, but you took the lead just before half-time and never relinquished it.
Well, Castleford, they're a class side as well, they play attacking football, but I think we owed them one. I wasn't here when they played at Cass, but I think Cass bet them there, so we just dug deep, and the spirit at the club, I think, is coming really well now, and we're all getting on, and I think we're all playing for each other.
Well, that's a team performance, but I'm thinking about the try of Francis Cummins. He won't get an easier try with an interception.
Yeah, it might have been an easy try, but he still had to be in the right place, to score it. So it was good awareness from Franny to be there and, to where he chucked the ball without looking, and Franny picked it up and scored a try. Any try, they might be easy, they might look easy, but, you still got to be there in the right place to score them. So it was a well-taken try.
And I think that Nick Owen must have wished the ground would have swallowed him up at that moment.
Well, the fans let him know all about it, didn't they? So, yeah, that's the way it goes.
As you say, the fans let you know all about it. Let you know all about when you scored the try as well. I think you enjoyed that, but as I say, winning pay, that keeps the run going, isn't it? You can keep it going, I hope.
Yeah, well, we've got a big game coming up against Wigan. Unfortunately, I'm cup-tied for that game, but if we can keep our winning run going till then, who knows?
The confidence boosts sky high with win after win, doesn't it?
Well, it does, Everyone likes to win, and when you win, everyone in the camp's happy and team morale's there. When you start losing, heads drop, and at the moment we're all ready, and we want to just keep playing and keep winning.
Congratulations, Carl, on this good win. Let's hope that 1996 makes it even better for you. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks very much. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Thanks.